Hi there, Derek here. We've recently had another Q&A on our Perfect English membership site. Here's an extract from it that you might find interesting. The next question is to do with gerunds. And the question is, can the same word be used as a gerund and a verb? And just a quick recap, gerunds are verbs that are kind of behaving as nouns in the sentence. And yes, of course, you can have both the same word being a gerund and a verb. So I'll give you an example, swimming. So if you say swimming is good for your health, here swimming is being used as a gerund. But if we say she is swimming, then here swimming is the verb. Now there's a very nice little way of sort of telling which is which. As if you replace the suspected gerund with, say, a very generic word like it or something, and it still makes sense, then it's a gerund. So if we take the example, swimming is good for your health, and we replace that with it or something, we get something is good for your health, or it is good for your health. And they both kind of make sense. Don't sound strange. They're valid sentences. So this tells us quite strongly that swimming is a gerund in this sense. If we take the other example, she is swimming, and we do the same thing, we get she is something or she is it. And that doesn't really make sense anymore. And so that tells you that in the sense she is swimming, we are really talking about a verb and not a gerund. So I hope that's clear. And this little trick works all the time. Another preposition. Last week we had over and above, and this one we have under and below. And the sentence was, in the example sentence, I saw a big fish below the surface of the water. It says, why below instead of under? Because water touches the fish and it covers it. Why are we using below the surface? Well, in this particular case, the surface isn't the whole body of the water. The surface is just the thing on the top, as it were, the sort of the part of the water that touches the air, if that makes sense. And so in this case, that's why it's below the surface, because the surface is just that upper layer. Yeah, it's not all the water. Now, if you're really unsure about this and you're stuck and you're in an exam and you'll think, oh, below, under, above, over, which is it? In this particular example, you could just say, I saw a big fish in the water. Yeah, so just use a different preposition, maybe structure your sentence slightly differently and go for sort of solid ground, as it were. Next one is again about the preposition above. And it says in the sentence, the pupil raised her hand above her head to ask a question. So we did this. How do we know if the preposition above is a preposition of place or direction? And this is quite good. In one sense, it doesn't matter because you're conveying information. And you can get kind of too bogged down on analyzing things almost sort of so that the information gets lost. If you get like analysis paralysis, I think they call it. So on the one hand, it doesn't matter because we know what you're trying to say. But in this, to answer the question, how can you tell whether it's a preposition of place or direction? Is it a preposition of direction has a sense of movement. So you're moving from one place to another. So she raised her hand above her head like this. So her hand is moving. So it's a preposition of direction. Whereas if it's a preposition of place, it's just stating where it is. There's no sense of movement. So it could be she sat with her hands above her head. So it's just like this. There's no sense of movement. So that would be a preposition of place. But if you have a sense of movement, then it's a preposition of direction. And the last one is to do with punctuation and quotation marks. And they've looked at the example. We did one on nested quotes. So if you're quoting what somebody else quoted, you'll have maybe your quotes in double quotation marks, their quotes in single, or the other way around. And the question was, is there a rule for triple nested quotations. And all you really have to do, this sort of rule for double just applies as deep as you want to go. So if you have the first quotes in saying double quotes and the inner ones in single quotes, then if in the inner one you have yet another one, you put those back to double quotes. So sort of alternate between double and single as you sort of go down each nesting level. Because if you think about it, if you have the quotes in single quotes, I have a quote inside and you forget the rest, you're just in a sort of a double nested situation. And all you do is you just alternate between single and double all the way down as far as you like. But I think if you have too many depths of nesting or nesting levels, it will become very quickly unintelligible, and it's not something that should be encouraged. So that was a brief extract from our last Q&A. I hope you did find it interesting and informative. Obviously, if you have any questions yourself, please ask in the comments below. You'll certainly get an answer. We could even use it in the next Q&A. And please have a look in the link. Head on over to the website or the membership website for more information. Maybe we'll see you on the inside. Till next time, bye for now. We've recently had another